But joining us here is Mr. Alan Brady. How you going, mate?
Yeah, great. Thanks very much for having me on, guys.
Alan's a real live filmmaker.
Is he?
Yes, yes.
He's a real live.
A real live one.
He's ticking, is he? Okay, let's have a listen to that.
Yeah.
No, I can't hear anything. Yeah. No, that's right. So, Alan, tell us, what are you up to at the moment? What's the project you're really passionate about and working on?
I'm just talking to this? Okay, yeah, sorry, I didn't know if I had to lean in gently on your, like, lapel mic there as well. It's really, really hard to engage the audience when there's, like, a huge me up there. That's really strange because when I saw it before, it's this, like, beautiful green background. And over here kind of looks like I'm in a public toilet. So it's a good little juxtaposition, like, position there. Am I, like, doing a live broadcast from, like, Into the Men's right now? Who knows? It's, yeah, the wonder of film.
That's how we feel about you, Brady.
No, I'm working on a couple of different projects at the moment. I've been really lucky to film through another company that I work with called Leaf Cutter, and we've been filming for a lot of not-for-profits recently as well. But on top of that, this year I've actually taken, I wouldn't say a sabbatical, but I'm working less on corporate stuff and trying to do more comedy stuff. So today I just submitted 2 webisodes to the Melbourne Web Fest. And yeah, currently trying to pitch some stuff to like the SBS and ABC, and yeah, just trying to get like, I guess, more in touch with like the stuff and the content as to why I become a filmmaker in the first place. So yeah, it's been really good.
That's really great. Ladies and gents, Alan Brady is on stage tonight because he has a really brilliant success story through his comedy channel, the Onslow Arts Council. That film was released late last year, and it was called The Top 5 Reasons Against Gay Marriage. We're going to throw to that clip, we're going to have a quick look at it, and then I'd like to talk about what the hell happened with that.
Okay, no problems.
Think are the top 5 reasons against gay marriage. Reason 1, it perverts the religious definition of marriage. What are you talking about? Do you know what the difference between a priest and a celebrant is? One is religious and one totally isn't religious at all. Both can wed you. Here's an image of a Wiccan marriage. Literally, devil-worshipping witches can legally get married in this country, but gays can't. Oh, you worship Satan? Well, that's fine. Oh, but you're not gay, are you? Because I wouldn't want to muddy these wonderful Christian traditions we have. I could literally be the Antichrist, and as long as I like the boobies, I can get legally married in this country. I'm going to give you what I think are the top 5 reasons against changing Australia Day. Reason 4, the Indigenous population should just accept Australia Day as a celebration for all Australians. The best estimates are that Australian Aboriginals have been in this country for over 60,000 years. Europeans started colonising Australia in the late 18th century. Since then, 90% of the Indigenous population has been wiped out. Just let that sink in for a second. 90%. To put this in perspective, let's distill down 60,000 years into a 24-hour period. Instead of Australia, we change it to an Australian Day party. So for 23 hours and 56 minutes, it's a great bloody house party. A few snags, couple of beers, everyone is having a great time. All of a sudden, at 4 to midnight, a bunch of uninvited guests show up. At the beginning, they're not acting like complete douches. Then they murder 90% of the people at the party. Then they enslave the other guests. And then at 2 to midnight, they let the other guests go and say, yeah, we're not really into that anymore. Then at 90 seconds to midnight, they kind of say sorry. They start drinking and having a great time. And then at 1 to midnight, they look around and get upset because you're not enjoying Australia Day. Guys, we're trying to have a bloody party here and you're sort of ruining the mood. How about you have a bloody beer and enjoy bloody Australia Day, mate?
This bit rings out for way too long.
There he gets it. He gets his mug up there, plus he gets his contact details. That was brilliant.
Thank you very much. Like,
so the first one was the 5 reasons against gay marriage.
Yeah.
1 million plus.
Yeah.
hits?
Last I checked, it was about 1,060,000. So yeah, pretty big up from the other video that we did before that, which had 920 last time I checked. So.
What was the one with prior to that?
Well, the thing with like the Onslow Arts Council, like I'm a big fan of like the Mighty Boosh and Monty Python and Tim and Eric. So comedy that nobody watches or likes, and that's what most of the stuff I do is. But I do a lot of stand-up comedy, and the reason I made the gay marriage video was because a lot of the comics I work with and actors working in the film community are gay, and I just thought they were getting a really, really rough time. So with that video, I literally wanted to figure out what the right wing were thinking, or like traditionalists when it come to marriage. So I went into it just thinking maybe there's something I'm not seeing. And as I was reading through the points, each one was more idiotic than the next. And then I just started coming up with like rebuttals in my head. And my girlfriend is like, you should record this. And I just banged it together over a weekend. And within the first 24 hours, it was up to about, I think it was about 150,000 views. Then over the week, it climbed to over 1 million. So yeah, it was a massive deviation from the usual comedy that we do. But it sort of sent us down like a little bit of a different path as well. But it's the first actual meaningful piece of comedy I think I've made, and yeah, I'm just really, really glad that there was an audience for it. It was really cool.
Yeah, I think that's really interesting. So you've been doing comedy kind of in that kind of presenter to camera style for quite a while now. You've done all sorts of different kind of skits and testing different genres, and but this one really went boom for you. Do you feel like it was because you kind of stood up for a cause that you believed in?
Yeah, I guess with the other videos, they're incredibly abstract, and we do have a strong niche audience. Like when we went to Adelaide Fringe, we actually had people rock up, which was really cool, and Sydney Fringe, and this is just through the page, but with the regular comedy that we do, it's a select group of freaks and misfits that like our comedy. But with this, it was sort of like really general. It's for everyone. Like the other comedy I do, it's kind of just to take your mind off and just sort of think about nothing. But with the gay marriage video and the Australia Day video, it's two topics that made me genuinely really angry. And the only way to get sort of my angst, or sort of like, I guess, my like energy out, like how upset I was with the situation, was to put it into something creative and like yeah, bang together a video, because it's like the two things that I do is, one is being a stand-up comic, the other is being a filmmaker. So this was literally the best use of both my times, marrying those two different like things together.
Now, knowing you very well, given we've known each other for quite a few years,
Yeah.
the one thing that strikes me about you is your manic energy levels. Okay, so in order to do that, do you need to maintain that? Because I saw the online engagement with the feedback and the commentary, and your responses was just phenomenal. But I mean, just to keep up with it must have required.
So it would have been hard to see in the stats there, but there were over like 120,000 comments. And as you can guess, when you're making something that's sort of controversial, and especially when it's on the internet, everyone just hates you, right? But it was like with this video, I was pretty undisciplined. I couldn't let it slide. So I was engaging in literally like it would have to be dozens, close to 100 different arguments at once. And I was like getting like 2 or 3 hours of sleep, and then I was like teaching in the morning as well. My girlfriend's like, you've got to stop doing this. And I'm like, yeah, I'll stop it. But like, it's kind of like if you've got a loved one and they're addicted to like heroin or something, you can't just say, hey, stop doing that. Like, you've got to like take that compulsion away. So she took my phone away, and I stopped using my computer. And yeah, I was getting like twitches. I remember I was watching the movie, I think it was It, and all I was thinking was about all the people I was arguing with. And I was actually twitching in my seat going, I hate that guy. Like, yeah, and all I wanted to do was leave the movie and go and argue. So when it comes to the Australia Day one, I set myself a quota. I told myself I would only have 20 arguments a day and work my way down from that. And I didn't stick to it every day, but yeah, like close to. So I was sort of weaning myself off.
So for those out there who are planning on having their next video go viral, what are your like top 3 tips of what to do or not do when your video does hit?
First thing is, I have no idea what's going to go viral. I've made like videos I thought were genius, and they get like 50 views, and I make this just because I'm upset, and it got over 1 million. I'm like, I literally don't understand. Like, the only thing I could possibly say is just keep making content, and just try to make good content. Like, there was a really, really good quote from a comedian I love called Bill Burr. And Bill Burr was a guy who sort of cracked it in his 40s. And what he was saying, he was trying to do a bit of everything when it come to comedy. And he sort of looked at the entertainment industry as he got older like a Westfield. Like, you go in there and there's a shop, and in each shop they sell different stuff. So you don't need to sell everything. Just figure out what your niche is and what you're good at, and just do that, and the audience will come to you. That's really the only advice, because I have no idea why people watch what they watch online. None at all.
So in terms of respect or disrespect for social media and all the various platforms, where do you feel at the moment? Because the 120,000 comments would have come with a huge amount of bile, I imagine.
Oh, totally.
But you know...
Well, like, the other most popular video we had is this one. If you type it in Facebook, it'll come up. If you type Jessica's Burgers, right? It's about a guy that works at a hamburger shop that sells hamburgers that are holograms, okay? And it makes no sense, but everyone just loved it because it was silly, and everyone's like, oh, this is great. But when you make something that questions their core religious beliefs, they're like, oh, you're a piece of shit. Like, that's basically how it works. But one of my other good mates, who's a comic, Steve White, he just explained it. He's like, they're criticizing you because they're not criticizing you, the person. You're literally pixels on a screen at that point, and you can get so angry and have so much vitriol towards that. But 99% of them, if we saw each other in the street, like, they wouldn't come up and like swear at me or be that angry. So after a while, I just sort of realized that they're like, the only way they could get my attention was to be as vitriolic and, as you said, just spewing bile. But unfortunately for my own mental health, that's what made me respond the most. So the meanest comments, it's basically like, you know, the squeaky wheel gets the oil. So the meaner you were, the more I responded, which is, terrible. Terrible, terrible plan.
So, apart from that, setting aside the bile, when's the next romantic comedy coming out, mate? That's what I want to know about.
Well, I just shot 2 webisodes for the Onslow Arts Council, which is actually like really, really fun because I work as a director of photography, and I've shot like TV ads, some of national. I just finished up a bunch of music videos for like a boy band which have been played on MTV and stuff. And the cool thing with like the Onslow Arts Council, even what you saw there, it's very lo-fi. So for the webisodes, I decided to shoot the interstitials as cinematically as I possibly could, and it's the weirdest juxtaposition. Like I showed some of my friends, and they're like, it's like I'm having a comedy aneurysm right now, and I couldn't have had a stronger compliment. Like, it was actually really, really lovely. So I'm just putting my feet in a lot of different ponds at the moment and just trying to figure out what's going to work best. But as you said, like with the manic energy, I get very excited, and I'm involved in way too many projects at the moment. But it makes me feel, I don't know, as centered as I can possibly be. Like, if I've got too much going on, that's a really great thing.
Absolutely, absolutely. We need more videos on Facebook, you know. There's just not enough.
No, there's totally not enough.
No,
there's hardly any. So.
No, if only people would watch more videos on Facebook.
It's a video drought, and there's also a mean comment drought. So if you're at home, you've got a mean comment, just jump on the onslowartscouncil.com. Maybe say something about how my beard sucks, or my forehead, which people like to target a lot as well.
I personally liked the comments about your looks.
Oh my God.
When they don't like your face, that was
that was good. One guy said, hey, he looks like Carl Drago, and then the next person said, if you had an extra chromosome. I'm like, they had like 50 likes. I'm like, yeah, fantastic. So,
Alan, Brady, thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Thanks a lot.
We're going to pop to an ad break now from 1804. Thank you.